So in level 2 and 3, in order for us to measure the spread, we actually used the range. So where you took the maximum value, subtract the minimum value. However, that didn't take into account all the values of the data set. Okay, so now we have to measure the spread of the data by taking into account all the values of the data set. And this is where variance and standard deviation comes into play. Okay, so they are measures of how spread out a distribution is. So in other words, they are measures of variability. So how far are the values from the mean, from the average? So the closer they are to the average, then it means that there isn't much spread, and the further they are from the average, then it means the distribution is far greater. So let's say, for example, we were given the following. So let's say we made observations, and our observations were as follows. So xi stands for our observation. So let's say, for instance, we had an observation of 6, 8, and 10. Okay, so this is our data set. All right, if that is our data set, so basically this is x1, x2, and x3. Okay, so that's what the xi stands for. It means that it's these values here. You can substitute I is equals to 1 all the way up to the end of your data set. Okay, so we only have 3. So my I is from 1 to 3. So if that is my data set, now I'm able to calculate the mean. How do I calculate the mean? The mean is going to be the sum of my xi's. So the sum is going to be 6 plus 8 plus 10 divided by how many values do I have there in my data set? I have 3. Okay, so therefore my mean is going to be 24 divided by 3, which is equals to 8. So that is my average. So that's my mean. And then I calculate now my xi minus my mean, because I want to know what is the variance. Okay, so it's x1 minus the mean. So here I have 6 minus 8, which is minus 2. Here I have 8 minus 8, and this is equals to 0. And then here I have 10 minus 8, which is equals to 2. Okay. So now I need to calculate what is it when I square it. Okay, so when I square my xi minus my mean, so what are those values? So minus 2 squared is equals to 4. 0 squared is still 0. 2 squared is equals to 4. Right? And now I can add these. So when I add these, then what do I get? I get 4 plus 4, which is equals to 8. So now I can substitute in the values into my formula. So my V value, okay, let me get a different color. So my V is going to be the sum of the squared, okay, difference between my observation and my mean. So the sum, we had it as 8, and then we say 8 divided by the number of observations, which is 3, okay, and that is my variance, which is equals to 2,67. So in order for me to find my standard deviation actually depicted like that. So my standard deviation is the square root of 2,67, which is equals to 1,63. Okay, so remember, the greater the value of the variance or the standard deviation, the greater its spread. So a standard deviation of 0 would indicate no spread. But here we can see there is quite a spread here, and you can see if my mean is 8, okay, where are my observations in relation to this? You can see this one, okay, it's spread out a little bit, and here as well it's also spread out a little bit. So that's why you have a standard deviation of 1,63.